Hello. Before I present to you my presentation, I actually would like to explain what it is. So during the creation of this assignment, I kind of struggled to pick a topic. I didn't want to pick an animal and present about an animal. I thought that was quite dull, but I instead wanted to do something that was more personally relevant. And so I decided to present on something that I feel like is very important to me. Um, at my place of employment, I am the chairman of the safety committee, and it is my job to point out safety concerns. And so there's a product that we got in earlier this week that I strongly dislike the sale of, and for reasons that you're about to hear. But um, to me, this assignment is something that is definitely important to me and to my work. And so it is something that I would like, perhaps after this, to even hand in to my boss and to kind of explain what this is and why I believe that we shouldn't be selling these products. The charge and throw devices for sale at the EMU and flagship campus locations present significant safety liabilities, particularly regarding fire risk and compliance with hazardous materials documentation. This analysis serves as the technical safety foundation for the charge and throw product safety proposal, which details the specific remediation and administrative actions required to mitigate these risks. This analysis is strictly limited to the technical safety of the charge and throw physical units in hand, and this assessment does not comment on, investigate, or otherwise characterize the legitimacy of the manufacturer, white label reseller, its dissolved parent company, or any associative business ethics. The devices are sold individually under the brand name Charge and Throw with the tagline, "One-time use phone charger." This explicit marketing framework strongly implies to the consumer that the primary method of disposal is simply to discard the devices in a standard municipal trash bin after a single use. The directions on the reverse side of the packaging include a step instructing the user to dispose of responsibly after use, yet the manufacturer provides no contextual information or definitions outlining what responsible disposal actually means to the average consumer. Additionally, while compliant with the Federal Trade Commission guidelines, the packaging displays a standard recycling symbol and the phrase "please recycle" in proximity to the FCC compliance logo and the WEEE non-disposable product icons. This symbolism, while likely legally compliant on behalf of the manufacturer, is equally likely not constituent of adequate signage that is conspicuous and proportional to the hazard, which means that customers, upon discharging the battery, would be highly susceptible to disposing of the product in a retail, university, or public trash can, such as those placed around both of the duck store locations in which this device is sold. In the event that a consumer discards a spent device into a standard campus or storefront receptacle, our custodial team will inadvertently consolidate this hazardous waste into our commercial dumpsters. This directly introduces a severe and fire and explosion risk during the weekly pickup and transit workflows. Our commercial waste hauler, Sanapack, services these dumpsters using a Peterbilt 320 Bridgeport front loader truck. These industrial vehicles rely on powerful internal hydraulic packer blades designed to crush, scrape, slice, and sweep the contents of the waste bins deep into the holding hopper. The physical crushing of the device, which likely houses an anonymous 18650 lithium-ion battery, is the exact mechanical failure scenario that triggers a thermal runaway event. Risks that are supported by historical data. In July of 2021, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, released an exhaustive report titled "An Analysis of Lithium-Ion Battery Fires in Waste Management and Recycling." The EPA identified 245 distinct fires caused by lithium-based batteries across a dataset of 82 unique municipal and industrial facilities in the United States. The study noted that 89% of these fires were definitively caused by a lithium-ion battery, while the remaining 11% were categorized as likely causes, where the severity of the fire damage prevented a definitive post-incident analysis. According to the EPA, employees will, as well as firefighters, were treated for chemical burns, smoke inhalation trauma, heat exhaustion, and other injuries as results of these fires. Beyond the external waste stream hazards, this product introduces severe operational and emergency response risks within our own retail spaces due to a total lack of technical and chemical transparency. As of this analysis, no safety data sheet has been provided with the product or made available to the floor employees at the EMU. This directly conflicts with standard safety procedures which require an active SDS binder to be maintained at all store locations for all potentially hazardous materials on the premises. Because the manufacturer does not cite a cell manufacturer or a chemical composition anywhere on the device, unit packaging, retail packaging, or corporate website, the battery itself is completely anonymous. Additionally, the safety committee has no means to verify whether a formal UN 38.3 transport safety study was ever conducted, or what the results may have been. Thus, we are unable to determine if it can be safely transported in the duck store vehicles, such as in the event of a shipment being distributed to locations from the distribution center. The anonymity of the manufacturer drastically increases the risk of latent manufacturer defect, triggering an event of spontaneous combustion on our sales floor or in the storage areas. Without an SDS or a verified chemical profile, store staff and loss prevention personnel are left without the documentation required to safely and effectively fight a fire if one of these units ignites. Different battery chemistries, even limited to lithium-based chemistries such as lithium iron, lithium iron phosphate, lithium ion, lithium nickel manganese cobalt, and lithium polymer, to name a few, react differently to different fire suppression agents. And without an SDS data, attempting to contain a thermal runaway event at a duck store location exposes team members to unquantifiable risks of fluorine gas inhalation, chemical burns, reignition, or massive fire spread. To conclude, the structural naming, deceptive disposal implications, and complete and total lack of chemical transparency surrounding the charge and throw device substantiates an active, immediate, and uncontrolled hazard to duck store personnel, customers, and facilities.